The late 90s and early 2000s saw an explosion in sci-fi shows thanks to the continued success of Star Trek. And while the era is best remembered for Farscape, Babylon 5, and Stargate SG-1, this time period also gave us shows like Lexx, Earth Final Conflict, TekWar, and Andromeda. Most of those other shows failed for obvious reasons. Lexx was always way too bizarre and sex-obsessed to work on television. It's amazing they were allowed to make it at all. Earth Final Conflict was, well, it just wasn't very good. TekWar somehow became a multimedia franchise despite having no actual fans, based purely on sheer force of will from William Shatner. But one of those forgotten shows could have been something huge. It should have been. Created by Star Trek's Gene Roddenberry, Andromeda could have topped them all. The series was the last show to be developed from the deceased sci-fi icon's notes. For 2 seasons, Andromeda featured deep world building, character development, and an incredible military sci-fi story about restoring the light of civilization. Unfortunately, it aired for 5 seasons. I'm Josh Tyler for Giant Freakin' Robot, and this is why Andromeda failed. Andromeda started with an amazing premise. A galactic alliance called the Commonwealth is engaged in a long, drawn-out war with the Magog. Savages from beyond the edge of known space. So they give up a key world as part of peace talks, the home of the Nietzscheans, genetically engineered humans who follow the work of Friedrich Nietzsche in their religion. Naturally, this leads to an uprising against the Commonwealth, kicking off a time period known as the Long Night. This period is a sci-fi retelling of the fall of the Roman Empire with one crucial difference. Captain Dylan Hunt, played by Hercules himself, Kevin Sorbo, was trapped at the edge of a black hole before the fall of the Commonwealth. He's frozen in time there with his ship, the Andromeda, for 300 years. Finally freed by a group of scavengers, Hunt sets about restoring the Commonwealth and bringing an end to the Long Night. It's a setup brimming with potential, and for the first 2 seasons, it was a fascinating attempt at long-term storytelling amid the backdrop of a fallen galactic empire. The crew of the scavenging ship is convinced, rather easily, to become the new crew of the Andromeda. That crew includes Becca Valentine, played by the very Canadian actress Lisa Ryder, as the new first officer, and a Nietzschean assassin named Tyr, played by Keith Hamilton Cobb. He fills in as the new weapons officer. Rounding out the ragtag crew tossed together by being in the wrong place at the wrong time is the science officer Rev Bem, or originally Red Plague, a kind and understanding Magog who follows the way. A mysterious girl named Trance Gemini, played by Laura Bertram. The ship also sports an advanced AI, played by Lexx who remains fiercely loyal to her crew, and especially Captain Hunt. Finally, Seamus Harper, played by Gordon Michael Wolvett, is the talented engineer who can hack computers with his cybernetic data port.
I'm in.
And whose frosted tips remind viewers this was filmed in the year 2000. Andromeda's setup, well-developed main cast, and the first season of serialized long-term plots involving restoring the Commonwealth blend well with ridiculous dialogue.
God is good. You want some? I could pour it into a spectral analyzer or something.
Thanks, but I prefer the logic chips.
I can fix that.
Hokey special effects, and a tone that walks a tightrope between overly serious and Saturday morning cartoon. Showrunner Robert Hewitt Wolfe, who was responsible for some of Star Trek Deep Space Nine's best episodes, worked closely with Roddenberry's widow, Majel Barrett. Wolfe had a clear vision for the universe of the series. By the end of Season 2, the start of fascinating nation-building and the day-to-day of establishing a galactic government was taking place. That's also when disaster struck. The architect of this one-of-a-kind take on televised sci-fi lost a power struggle against Andromeda's producers and was fired.
When I took the job, everyone told me, look, Tribune is going to get rid of you at some point because they'll backload the contract with a bunch of really nice financial kickers and they don't want to pay that.
Right when Andromeda had found a loyal fan base and was poised to break through, Wolfe was replaced by Robert Ingalls, David Lynch's longtime creative partner. Or that's what happened on paper. In reality, the show was retooled from a sci-fi ensemble with long-term storytelling and fascinating alien characters to become Hercules in space.
I'm telling you, the guy is huge. He's like some kind of Greek god or something.
Sex appeal, explosions, and episodic storytelling were subbed for the nation-building plot, while Sorbo's Dylan Hunt became the perfect hero. A Gary Stu, with more of the spotlight put on him. Keith Hamilton Cobb, frustrated with Tyr's treatment, left during Season 3 and took the show's best character with him. In chasing mass market appeal, Andromeda lost everything that made it great in the first place. By the time Season 5 started airing, the cast remained mostly the same, but everything else around them had changed. Gene Roddenberry's grand tale of restoring the Commonwealth was no longer Captain Hunt's guiding light, but rather an annoyance. When you watch Andromeda today, it's impossible to miss the moment when the backstage power struggles overtook the sci-fi story. Instead of developing an enduring fanbase like Farscape, the series alienated die-hard sci-fi fans, and Kevin Sorbo wasn't able to bring in even a fraction of his Hercules audience to make up the difference. Sci-fi is a niche genre that will always appeal to a smaller audience than broad four-quadrant shows, but if you treat the fans right and don't insult their intelligence, you'll be rewarded with a lifetime of relevancy. If you don't respect that sci-fi audience, you'll be remembered like Andromeda, as one of the biggest missed opportunities in sci-fi history. Until next time, keep a strong grip on your Force Lance, and make sure you give this video a like. I'm Josh, and this has been Giant Freakin' Robot.